It's party time, so for your homeboys and your crazy cousins. We came here to eat, we're not leaving until we're stuffed. And there'll be nothing left, nothing safe, not even a crust. All aboard for a fat boy trip, and you can call me captain. Don't forget the paper plates and the stack of napkins. P-I-C-C-A, P-A-R-T-Y. P-I-C-C-A, P-A-R-T-Y. Pizza party, gonna have a good time. Pizza party, have a sip of red wine. Yeah!
Ciao, paisans! Woohoo! We are back, and boy, have I got a show for you. Man, I missed you. How's your summer going? You sitting on your porch with your country time lemonade, thinking about the good old days? Wake up! The good old days are right now, and I'm going to share them with you. Let me take a look at you. Woo, you're looking nice this summer. You got a little bit of the sun in there. Looking good. Smelling good. You got a little bit of the Hawaiian tropic on. All right. So let's jump into it. This is a superior lineup because I'm all juiced up. You want to know why? Gen Con, baby. Whoa! My first big con. I'm hitting the road. Me and Timmy DeShane, we're getting in the car. 16 hours. We're heading out there. And boy, Jen Brinkman, she is already working me like a dog. Thank you for this opportunity. Goodman Games. I'm going out there. I'm going to be slinging loot for Goodman Games at the booth. I'm going to help them set up, tear down, do cartwheels in the middle. I'm going to be running funnels, whatever you want. And then when I'm not doing that, you come see me. We'll play Ninja City. We'll play Weird Heroes of Public Access. Anything you want to do, I'll be around. I'm your guy. Or as my friends like to say, as Mr. Levi says, I'm your Huckleberry. I'm going to steal that one from him. I like that. So we got all sorts of stuff going on tonight. It's hot down here in the Mozzarella Mausoleum. The walls are sweat. It might be a little bit of blood dripping from the walls. It's a little possessed these days. So forgive me if I don't have a proper gentleman's jacket on, but I think instead of the jacket, I'd ruffled up a little bit for you, okay? So your Nana won't be upset. Crypto Cool, here we go. What kind of cool stuff do I have today? Well, I'll tell you this. I'm very excited because tomorrow my family finally bought into it. This is my wife and my daughter and my son. We're all jumping in. It's like this summer has been our retro summer. It feels like the summer when I was a kid. I'm seeing my kids live that kind of summer. So, perfect timing. This is where we're starting. We're starting right here. All right? Into the Borderlands. This is the Master Edition from Goodman Games. You know what it is. The Original Adventures Reincarnated. And this is, I got to start here. So, they've played a little bit of gaming here before. I play with Elvis all the time. But I really wanted to get back to basics and see where this takes us. Now, I've been digging into this, and the options this gives both the judges and the players are incredible, and I'm not going to be doing too much research. I've been researching the history, but I haven't watched a lot of actual plays because I just really want to see where this takes us. And over the next couple of episodes of the Pizza Party, I'm gonna give you some play reports as to how it goes, just so you can see the process. But right here, the first one, I believe this is definitely the first Originals Reincarnated. You can get it on the site, Goodman Games, Into the Borderlands. This is a great one right here. So I took that off the shelf, and I'm finally going to use it. I got some really cool, weird stuff in the mail lately from some of my friends, and I wanted to share this. This is from my friend Zach, Punishment 90. He took a trip down. He was in Shepton, Pennsylvania, and he went on tour of some of the mines. And he picked me up. Woo! Shepton, the myth, miracle, and music. His journey takes us beyond the netherworlds of Shepton, Chestnut Ridge, and the Penhurst Asylum. It looks into the eyes of demonologists Ed and Lorraine Warren from Connecticut, where I am, and the twisted souls of serial killer Gary Heidnick and card artist Richard Sharp Shaver while exploring the preternatural secrets of Bigfoot, cryptids, the Smurl haunting, Pennsylvania Dutch powwowing, and Roman Catholic mysticism. Checks all the boxes. This is by the same author, the Shepton Mythology. Listen to this. If this doesn't get you Shutter Mountains going, I don't know what will. In 1963, 3 miners were entombed more than 300 feet below underground near remote Shepton, Pennsylvania. Although 2 were eventually rescued, others simply disappeared. It was black hell, total darkness, but then they saw bizarre humanoid creatures and stairwells leading to a golden city. Oh, my goodness. True. They marked this as true. I can't wait for this. So that's going to get me ready for the fall. I don't know if you're seasonal. Are you seasonal like me? Like, to me, the Shutter Mountains are a very autumn, fall kind of thing. And during the summer, I really like classic dungeon crawls. I don't know. It's just a thing. It's like a flavor for me. You know, I like certain ice creams in the summer as opposed to my desserts in the winter. So that's going to get me ready not to rush the fall. Now, look, I got this friend. Here's another thing I got in the mail. I got this friend, Sensei Ralph. Awesome guy. He teaches karate to all the little kids and elderly in town. Really, really awesome guy. And he's like, hey, you're into the D&D role-playing game stuff? I said, oh, you bet your bottom dollar I am, Sensei Ralph. He's like, listen, I got all this stuff. I don't know what to do with it. Can you make me a couple bucks? Maron, he drops it off. He drops it off on my porch. It's like one of those printer boxes, printer paper boxes. Look at this. Can you beat that? Can you beat that art? Grenadier, Dungeons and Dragons. Look at this. Look at this one. I love this one. This is Denizens of the Swamp. That art is second to none. And then what's even cooler, these are from when he was little. Sensei Ralph's just a little bit older than me. And they got him a little, painted by a 12-year-old. The whole set's right there. Beautiful. Oh, man, but I'm just staring. Look at the adventure. Look at the imagination on that box. You guys ever do that? The old Grenadier? I still paint minis all the time. I don't use them in my games, really. But what I do now is I buy even the plastic ones and I paint them silver and I just make them look old. And here's look at this classic that was in the box. The Lost Caverns of Tajikistan. I don't know how to say. Yeah, this one. This is a classic. I was flipping through this Rogues Gallery, all sorts of stuff that I'm going to be selling for him. But that's what this summer is for the old Royale family. We're getting back to basics. Back to the basic dungeon crawls. And getting weird with that stuff. All right. Well, I'm going to share another crypto cool thing after we bring on our in-house cryptozoologist, Mr. Levi Combs. I didn't even tell you who's on. I got Ian McCarty here. I got Brendan LaSalle. I got the Neon Lord. I got Elena. And I got Levi Combs. This is some of my best friends all together around the pie. Wisdom check. Boom. Here we go. Wisdom check. Let's start out with Seneca. No, I'm not going to start with Seneca. I'm going to start with Rick Rubin. I'm throwing the script all through a hole. You want to know why? I was talking to Neon Lord about this today. We were shooting each other back and forth. I feel like I've been lazy. All right? In like 2 days, I got two new zines coming out for WHPA. So that'll be up soon. They're coming for Mix'em. But I finished those right at the end of the school year. And I just kind of been hanging out. I've been busy, but I haven't been writing anything. And I've been hard on myself about that. And then it happens, I don't know. It happens at every pizza party. And then I open up one of these books to do a wisdom check for all of you and myself. And I just open to a page where it just boom, boom, 2 shots to the jaw and I spit out a molar. Listen to this. This is what Rick Rubin says. Remember this book I told you about? The Creative Act, The Way of Being. I know some of you have told me you picked it up. I can't recommend it enough. Here it says, ready? Very simply put. Is it time for the next project because the clock or the calendar says it's time, or because the work itself says it's time? I want to ask everybody about this. It's going to be on the show, about their process. Some of us, we have many irons in the fire all at once. Some of us has that one passion project that we chip away at for a long time. And then there's the in-between. So then I turn the page and he says, choosing to live in scarcity leads to stagnation. If we work on one project forever, we never get to make another. The fear of drought and the impulse for perfectionism prevent us from moving on and block the river's flow. Each mindset evokes a universal rule. Whatever we concentrate on, we get. If the mind creates a world that is limited, where we think we don't have enough worthwhile ideas and material, we will not see the inspiration the universe is providing, and the river slows. In the abundant world, now here's the other side of the coin, we have a greater capacity to complete and release our work. When there are so many ideas available and so much great art to make, we are compelled to engage, let go, and move forward. How is your river flowing? No, I'm not your urologist. I'm thinking about the creative river flowing. How is your creative river flowing? I thought I was being lazy, but you know what? I changed my mind about that today. When I'm sitting on the couch eating my Captain Crunch with Crunch Berries and watching nonstop Unsolved Mysteries, which is what I've been doing the past couple of days, I'm getting ideas. Boy, Unsolved Mysteries, that show is just ripe for the picking. And you know what I've been doing too? Kolchak the Night Stalker. I've been watching old episodes of Kolchak the Night Stalker, and I've also been going back to Columbo. What the heck does any of this have to do with role-playing games? Understanding by design. It's a theory where you start at the end and then you write backwards. So, Columbo always does this really well. You get in the preview, it shows you what happens. It shows you the murder. It shows you who did it. And then the rest of the show is just getting everybody else on board as to what happened. So what I've been doing, because I want to go back to writing, I want to write a dungeon. I've never wrote a dungeon before. I'm going to do a 5-room dungeon, and I'm going to start doing that as an exercise. But what's the point of the dungeon? That's what you always got to ask yourself. This thing is not just there for you to rob and steal. That was put there for a reason years ago, and I want to work with that. This might sound like old news to some of you, but this is not an exercise I've taken on, dungeon writing. There was a reason that it was built, which then you move back. So what is that going to mean for the adventurers rather than just grave robbery? I'm going to fill you in on that in a little bit. So that's just the work on creativity. And here's just a little Seneca, because we can't have a Joey Royale's pizza party without a little bit of stoicism. And I dedicate this to all the people that have been on the show and all the people that have been in the chat, because this is truly a community amongst Goodman Games. And you'll understand this. One cannot pursue one's highest good without at the same time necessarily promoting the good of others. A life based on narrow self-interest cannot be esteemed by any honorable measurement. Seeking the very best in ourselves mean actively caring for the welfare of other human beings. Our human contact is not with the few people with whom our affairs are most immediately intertwined, nor to the prominent, rich, or well-educated, but to all our human brethren. View yourself as a citizen of a worldwide community and act accordingly. This really rang a bell with me over the past couple of weeks, because I've really seen everybody pushing each other's projects. Everybody is sharing each other's things. And all the cool crew that I hang out with, I'm so lucky to be amongst all of you, because you all do a very good job advertising for each other. Because at the end of the day, we're just a bunch of kids hanging around the cul-de-sac together, and we want every best thing that all of our friends can get. So I got some great guys on tonight. I got the Neon Lord, I got Ian, I got Brendan, and I got Levi. And those guys and some of their crew and our crew are very good examples as everybody helping each other out. If you ever have a second, it's not too hard. You can complain about how your cat, threw up on your magazines on Facebook in a second. Take a second just to reshare somebody's Kickstarter or project, or answer one of those questions. It's very easy, and you'd never be let down, man. Some of these friends I have on here tonight, they made one post, and because of that one post, I was immediately I made enough money to put out my next zine. It can be as simple as that. Every little share can help somebody create a little bit more and take the stress off. Speaking of stress, let's do a little scrying with my Garbage Pail Kids tarot card. I shuffled, I pulled it, and this is what I got tonight. The 9 of Swords. See the kid picking his nose with the word was coming out of him? This is very helpful. He's upright, so we'll read it. 9 of Swords, wormy shirmy. I love that one. Fear, worry, and anxiety have wormed their way into your brain. You may be dealing with nightmares and having trouble letting go of these stressful thoughts. Don't let them have so much power over you. Make de-stressing and restful relaxation your priorities. That goes back to Rick Rubin. Are you stressing out because of the calendar? Maybe you should just wait till something pops up and don't push yourself. And then you got something kind of men's that you're not too proud about. So that's what I've been thinking about. All right, enough of that stuff. Let's get the party going. Elena, could I please have my cousins, the Neon Lord and Levi, be with us tonight? All right. I'm getting over bronchitis in the summer. It stinks. All right. How's everybody doing in the chat? Yes, star-studded lineup indeed. Gentlemen, how are you?
Joey, what is going on?
I miss you guys. It's good to see both of you. We got Neon Lord in the Day Glow bunker. And then we got Levi behind a gas station somewhere in Baltimore. That's how we do it, right?
Breaking bottles behind Wawa.
Yeah, he's at the Wawa. Getting a pickle in a bag. You guys doing all right? How's your summer?
Oh, good. Chat's asking about Cousin Marty. So he's still supposedly in lockup, and I will have an update on him next month.
There was, did you hear there was some DB Cooper talk?
Yeah, that's what I heard too. DB Cooper about to bomb more Olive Gardens, allegedly.
Oh, my God. Here he goes again. Well, say a prayer for Cousin Marty. Neon Lord, what do you have for us this warm summer evening?
So I thought about going to your mom and pop video shop, renting movies. And what if, your favorite movie was out? What are you going to get, right? So you go, you want Hell Comes to Frogtown. Hell Comes to Frogtown. Levi won't return it. So, of course, you have to Return to Frogtown with Robert Zadar instead of Roddy Piper.
Oh, my goodness.
It's still the sequel to Hell Comes to Frogtown. Still a good one. Actually, Lou Ferrigno has a scene in it as like a rocket ranger that gets I believe he gets kidnapped or so something about Texas Rocket Rangers go missing. It's definitely a fun ride. Watch it.
Lou Ferrigno was my confirmation sponsor. Very nice guy. Very nice guy. I always love. You ever remember that Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood with Lou Ferrigno, where Mr. Rogers tells you not to be afraid. It's just a man, and it shows him putting the paint on and the wig and all that.
I remember. I don't remember that one, but I remember the Wicked Witch from Wizard of Oz doing the same thing. Because she terrified me.
Yeah.
But anyway, you want to rent RoboCop or Terminator? Well, how about you rent Lady Terminator instead? This is actually one of the best movies ever made. This movie is awesome.
Tell me about it.
So it is literally like so there's like some Indian, I think it's Malaysian, I believe. I don't know. Levi, you might know him. Indonesian. So it's like Indonesian folklore, like intertwined with like this goddess sends a Terminator to modern times because of a guy tricked her and stole a necklace, right? So this Terminator is hell-bent on killing the bloodline of this. It's a long story, very convoluted, but all you got to know is the Terminator is awesome. The effects are actually good. There's a great shoot 'em up mall scene ripped right out of Terminator 2. So if you can't get Schwarzenegger, go for Lady Terminator. Highly recommend.
I'm sold on that. That's wonderful.
I'm playing some 4D chess right now, Joey, because what if you go and you can't get Home Alone? I know what you think I'm going to say.
I know. Yeah.
You thought I was going to say Deadly Games.
I thought so.
But no. Well, I mean, you can get Deadly Games. This was made a year before Home Alone. Home Alone ripped this movie off. Go watch it. It's phenomenal. I would talk about it.
I'm going to second that, folks in the chat and the audience. Watch that movie. It's like R-rated Home Alone
Yes.
What's the country? It's
France. It is
France.
French.
It's a rated R Home Alone in French. It's not rated R for anything nasty.
I don't think it's rated R. I don't think it's rated R though.
It's violent. It
on
is
the Vince. It is pretty violent. There is like a dog killing scene, which is pretty brutal.
Yeah.
But they don't show. I don't know. Long story. Watch it. It's good. If you get to the kids under the dining room table, fast forward a little bit, you're golden. Anyway,
Okay.
But I was not going to say Deadly Games. I was going to say Twin Sitters with the Barbarian Brothers.
Oh, the Barbarian Brothers.
So I have a slew of all the movies that they made. This movie is awesome. The Barbarian Brothers are, bar none, the two greatest actors of all time. So they find this convoluted scheme to babysit these rich kids while I don't even think it's their dad. It's like their uncle or something. Goes on a business trip. So they're babysitting these kids in a mansion. But of course, like business terrorists show up and need something and try to kidnap the kids. But the Barbarian Brothers are there to save the day. I mean, this would even be if Three Ninjas was out or Home Alone. Twin Sitters is where it's at.
Yeah, you're a Three Ninjas guy, huh?
I love Three Ninjas. But that's not it. All right, last one. Well, all the kiddies are in bed. You want to rent, I don't know, Stallone, maybe Cobra, right?
Yeah. I just watched that the other night.
Cobra's out. You got to get the Boz in Stone Cold instead.
I love the Boz.
Or you can get it out. The Boz in Stone Cold is one of the. This movie is actually really, really good. Actually, all the movies were phenomenal picks, but this is like straight up a ripoff of Cobra, hands down. But he's like a kind of like an undercover biker in it. But the beginning scene is ripped right out of Cobra. He does the whole showdown in a grocery store, 7-Eleven style event. But we might have ties to the guy who plays the bad guy in the beginning. His uncle, we know his nephew, right? So we're gonna try to get him.
We rolled some dice with him. Yeah.
So
that's right.
We got royalty in the extra scene when it comes to the Boz movies. But Stone Cold is awesome. It's free on YouTube. I think most of them probably are free on YouTube. I would highly recommend.
To know. As a Cobra fan and as a fan of the Boz, I
can't beat the Boz.
Check this out.
Yeah.
Well, thank you always, Neon Lord. Lady Terminator, some really great ones there, and the Barbarian.
That was 5 minutes before we came on air. I whipped that up.
And have you seen the American Gladiators? We got Brennan. I will talk about X-Crawl later on, but
unfortunately, I do not have time to have watched it.
American Gladiators documentary series. I highly recommend that. I got a good kick out of that. Now, my good man, our in-house cryptozoologist, sent me a very thoughtful, very beautiful package that the whole Royale family enjoyed, including this. Holy cow. Can you look at this beast? This mounted taxidermied. This is an Alaskan hoofaboo, marked 1964. Alaskan hoofaboo. Levi, what magic lies within this beast?
Yeah, that's some next level sorcery right there for sure.
Yes.
Maybe a few bad spellburn checks. That's not good at all. Definitely
this pops out of your chest. Your chest hair morphs into this creature.
Well, Joey, you know this, but the audience may not. There is a whole subsect of weird taxidermy where they'll take bits and pieces of the animal that don't usually get turned into usable pieces, and they'll cobble them together Frankenstein style into like different creatures. You see a lot of stuff like jackalopes or the Fiji mermaid. That's the famous stuff. But there's a whole like subsection of stuff like this where it's obvious they just took part of the side and some hooves, slapped some glass eyes on it, and made their own little creature.
That's what this is. This looks like it is 4 hooves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 glass eyes, and some probably a little nip at the tail, and you got this beautiful thing.
No, they're awesome. They actually call them yowies up in Alaska. That's like another name for these cobbled together creatures. The most famous kind of ones you see are where they take the rear end of the animal.
I know what you're talking about. The rump of the deer.
Yeah, they take the rump of the deer and right where the sphincter is, that's the mouth, and they kind of put everything around that. But yeah, keeping it family friendly. We'll leave it at that. But yeah, they're always awesome when I run across them in the wild, or I go to like some sort of weird cabinet of curiosities or roadside attraction. I run across them, and I've had that one for a while hanging up on my wall. I was like, there's no better place in the world for this than Joey Royale's basement. So
and that's where it's going, buddy. That's where it's going. And you will see it in person because we're heading off to ShireCon together in September.
Yep.
So, folks, if you want a good time, ShireCon, there's going to be all sorts of games going on. Dungeon Crawl Classics, Neon Lords of the Toxic Wasteland. I'm running a WHPA game. It's going to be beautiful. Levi, what do you have in the hopper right now? Anything you can share?
Oh no, I'm always working on 3 or 4 things at once. But the thing that's out right now, it just released, is a book with Exalted Funeral called the Vorpal Almanac, and it's with a fantastic artist from Jersey who usually works in the comic field, Sally Canarino. And the artwork is amazing. The cover to the book is just killer. It's her throughout the whole thing. She drew it, I wrote it, and it's one of those deals where it's like I'd always get like irritated when the line would say, you open the chest and you find a +1 sword. I mean, I wanted like Excalibur, or Grey Swan Deer, or Cat's Claw, or one of those. I wanted a sword with some personality to it. So I wrote a book about swords and weapons with personalities to them.
The Eye of Thundera.
Yeah, the Eye of Thundera. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and when is that? And is that, when can everybody get that?
It just released back on last Tuesday.
Last week, right? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Last week on Exalted Funeral, the Vorpal Almanac.
Yeah, if you just go to their site, it's going to be on the front page. Just put in either my name, Levi Combs, or Vorpal Almanac, and it'll come right up.
And you brought up something, too, that we're going to all talk about as a forum at the end of the show tonight, about multiple projects or one focused project. So put that in your hats. Guys, get ready. Here we go.
Uh-oh, Old Spice is coming on.
Old Spice is coming out. I hear the rumble of buffalo and the tumble of tumbleweeds. Ladies and gentlemen, Elena, if you would please let in Mr. Ian McGarty, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, listen to the fanfare. Listen to the applause. Ian, my good friend, how are you tonight?
Muted.
You're muted.
I'm muted. I've been silenced by myself.
Yeah,
I'm super happy to be here.
How you been?
I'm good. Always pretty good.
So we met for the first time at TotalCon, and that's where I first met Levi in person as well. You guys were running with your crew, the Independent Publishers Union, correct?
Yes, we had our
clash with the sewer rats in the back alley
versus the sewer rats.
It was heavy RPG gangland clashing all along the corridors of TotalCon.
That was a great time, and I appreciate you going out of your way to make sure I knew what the heck was going on at my first con. You were an immediate friend. So, Ian, what you are here to talk about tonight is something that I am very interested in. The spattered patina of the Barbarous Blade. A beautiful title for Weird Frontiers. Am I correct?
Yes, this is a Weird Frontiers adventure. It's I had it kind of outlined for a long time, and talked to Dave Beatty in Texas, and he was like, "Man, you got to just write something for him, get it out there." And so I, turned my outline into a finished piece pretty quick. But it's a great adventure. I've been playing pieces of it at cons for a couple of years just because I like the premise. But the premise is a demon-tainted regiment of federal soldiers that are just tearing across the land. And you may not know why, but they do have an ultimate purpose as they seek to release their demon master.
Oh my goodness!
It's a lot of fun, and it's been great to play it. It's I'm still play testing it now, even with a group of people, but it's a blast. And Weird Frontiers is just an awesome game. It really hits that Old West stuff for me.
Yeah, it really is a great game. It's a passion project for sure. What is your favorite class to play?
So I don't know. I play. I don't really have a favorite for. I think even game systems, right? Like I'll play a lot of game systems. I'll play a lot of classes. I'll often play whatever. I've played mostly Revelators.
Yeah, that's what I played too. Yeah.
That's what Levi and I had a great game where it was me as a Revelator and everybody else was a luchador, which was insanity.
Man.
But we yeah, so we've I mean all the class from anything from the Bedlamite to the Gunslingers, there's so much just cool flavor in all of them. That any class is a joy to play with that game for
Yeah,
me.
it really is. It leads to so many great stories.
Like you can play a zombie.
Yeah, yeah. Any movie, yeah. I love it. Like from El Santo to Clint Eastwood, it kind of runs the gamut, you know.
It definitely does. So,
I just put the link in the Kickstarter. I mean, the link for the Kickstarter in the chat. So tell me a little bit about, and Levi, you can jump in on this too, the Independent Publishers Union. This is really cool when I first found out about this. This is a great community. Tell me about it.
So it's, I mean, a bunch of us knew each other, had been, small publishers. Like you guys know, getting a booth and all that stuff can be limiting if you're just a single guy. And we all knew each other and were friends, and we kind of glommed together once or twice informally, and we're like, why aren't we doing this a little more formally? And it kind of shaped up from there. So not a union like a labor union, more like a civil union that we've just been together so long at this point that we're a team.
I call it the Legion of Doom.
It is the Legion of Doom. It was so cool to walk into the room and see all you guys together. Like, all right, this is cool. These are guys that are into the same stuff. Let's split the cost of the table. Let's get the big posters. Let's get the big piece of real estate, and let's roll dice together. I thought that was really cool. It was like a party, but a party of professionals. You guys dance around.
I always call it a hang. Like that was always the coolest thing. Like back when I was bartending, you would, people would drive all the way across town to go to your bar if it was a cool hang, but like would ignore the bar that was 2 blocks away from them, even though it was closer, because the hang was better across town. And that's kind of what the Independent Publishers Union is. We have a good hang. So the tables, it's open for people to stop by, sit down and chit chat, for people to hang out, have a good time. And that's really what it revolves around. It's us. It's all of us guys supporting each other. It goes back to what you were saying earlier during your wisdom check. Like it's us supporting each other, and having each other's backs, and helping get the word out on projects that are cool, playing each other's games, and just generally just sharing the fellowship and friendship that comes with RPGs. Anyways, we're just doing it in a more public fashion.
Well said. That's really the vibe I got from you guys.
It's super easy because all the stuff that my buddies are putting out is super cool. It's the same as like I found Levi's like, Ian, you got to check out this WHPA thing. I ordered it right. Same thing. Like you find just these gems of games and things that you want to see published, and you want, like, I want more. I want it for myself greedily to read. So it behooves me to get you guys to succeed because we all put out some neat stuff, and that's the goal.
I get what you're saying there too, because with all you guys, it is like it's almost a selfish pursuit. It's like, all right, yeah, buy us stuff so you can make more, so I can buy more of it, so I can have it on my table. It's cool.
Well, and then all too often there's a feast or famine mentality about RPGs, and I don't abide by that at all. This isn't a famine; it is a feast, and there's so much to go around for everyone. There's all this talk about market share and blah 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 blah. Who cares? It's all about the fellowship and what comes around with sitting around that table and tossing dice. And when we were at TotalCon and we were at the end of your game, and everybody's got smiles on their faces, and we're laughing, and we're doing kind of our last cut scenes. We're going around the table. It was such a good time, and that exemplifies like our whole attitude about the Independent Publishers Union. So it's just very seamless.
That's awesome. And Neon Lord, you and I want you guys' take on this too. And so Neon Lord and I were talking about today zines, just the idea of zines and how that the definition is sort of changing. To me, a zine is anything that's homemade that a little publisher puts out. Anybody disagree with that?
No, I mean, but I think at this point, the difference is it's not a bunch of us, mimeoing stuff or risographing stuff in our garage. It's like the digital tools we have means that the stuff that comes out they're beautiful. Like,
that's an interesting perspective. Yeah.
Because if someone wants to buy me a Rizio machine to put in my garage, I certainly will take it.
Yeah, no, I agreed. Like, if you drop one off, I'm not going to throw it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It doesn't have to be a certain size. Don't let any of that stuff, to everybody out in spaghetti land, don't let all that stuff tie you down. Make a zine that you want to have.
Yeah.
And we always talk about this on the show. And make it for yourself, and I guarantee you other people will love it. It spreads. So don't think it has to be 24 pages, 8.5 by 5.5, printed from Mixam. It doesn't have to be that way. You make it as you want to make it. Go ahead, Brian.
8.5 by 11 is a good size, everybody. You don't have to make a small book. It's fine. Trust me, it's still a zine.
He's just saying that because he's old.
Coming out? You got a nice 11.5. 11.5 by 8.5.
That's it. That's the way to do it.
I did Stay Sick on purpose in a different size, just to do it. Like, you got to break out of your shell a little bit, and it gave you. It's a different design project when you do that. It was like 6 pages, 5 pages. But yeah, go out there and switch it up a little bit. Zine Quest is a great thing to get people's stuff out there and get it promoted. But don't think you have to stay with what's become industry standard. I challenge you. I dare you to go out and do things a little bit different.
And my recommendation, if it's your first one you're doing it, is to print on the size that you can do the cheapest and easiest.
Yeah,
that's also good. Man. That's also a good point, especially because like everyone wants to conform to the small size, but aren't necessarily used to formatting into it or laying out like a smaller book because it's a completely different beast doing smaller books. 8.5 by 11, you can like literally smatter it, like shotgun blast it, and you'll be fine.
Your margins don't matter as much.
Yeah. Margins don't matter.
All you need to make a zine is some paper, a stapler, and a pen. That is really, honestly, all that you need.
You don't even need a stapler.
Yeah, they run the gamut from being, really, really like the kind of stuff that like Trevor Stamper puts out. These beautiful zines with pockets in them and little surprises and stuff. Just these beautiful zines. But they can go all the way back to the roots where it's literally like we were talking about, just folded paper with your own art and your own words. It's so easy. Just get it out. Like, just make your zine. That's all you have to do.
Yep. And that's what these guys are doing. And that's why they're my pals and my inspiration. Ian, what's some other stuff? Now you're a cartographer as well, right? You like to do maps?
I don't know if I started doing maps because we couldn't afford them and it was the easiest way. So I've just
there you go.
Spent years doing it and it's good, but I do it to relax now. So like through COVID, I was drawing Old West towns for some reason.
Really?
I just had like a collection of a dozen like isometric Old West towns with no home. Like, what am I doing? But I just found it relaxing.
Well, that is awesome.
So
check it out. The Kickstarter link is in the chat for Ian McGarty's spattered patina of the Barbarous Blade. Stick around because we got another friend coming in and another spritz. All the family's going to love this. Mr. Brendan LaSalle, X-Crawl royalty, everybody. Holy cow. What a show tonight. Brendan, my friend, Uncle Brendan, how are you?
I am fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. It's great to see you. And I think I can speak for everybody. We are so happy for you. We are so happy.
Crazy.
Exponential explosion that the new X-Crawl project has become.
So good.
Thank you. I'm so grateful to everybody for the support. And, just like you said, everybody sharing it, everybody putting the information out there. I got something, I'm like, every time I see it, I get like choked up again. So it's this, the community's been really good to me. I love this community very, very much. And I'm grateful to all of y'all for all the support, all the kind words and everything. So thank you so much. I gotta hug everybody.
There we go. Give them a nice hug. There you go.
Oh, don't get too close to Joey with all that extra Old Spice.
Yeah, you're gonna.
You know what? I'll
like
take
Old
it. I'll
Spice.
take it.
Lori's gonna
It's
start
like
asking questions.
it's like pepper spray.
Yeah.
Heard about lipstick
what,
on
I
the
gotta-
collar.
Yeah.
What
I got it for
about
the show. I put a little high karate on for the show.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
very
You know
nice.
what
I'm an aqua velvet guy, so
Aqua
actually we
velvet?
shouldn't touch. What if we all touch and it turns into like hydrochloric acid or something?
I did
Ooh.
Stetson, but that's just because it's a weird
Oh.
Frontiers night for me.
I was about
Yeah.
to say, yeah.
We'd probably combine like some kind of like beautifully scented Voltron. We would just stack up. The scent would come up, and then we would be like this unstoppable gaming machine that just smelled so good you could smell 3 counties away.
I wish
I got
they would
some
come up with like a
aspiration.
grandpa sampler of all, like, Stetson High Karate, the Aqua Velva. It's like, yeah. Oh, that's
Brute,
great.
gotta have Brute on there.
Yeah, Brute. Oh, you know what? No,
Fabergé.
I love Brute.
You know, I went shopping for an old, like the crappiest smell I could find.
Yeah.
It's hard, man. They all stuck.
Brute is up there with Old Spice for me. I love Brute.
You a
Brute's
Brute
got a
guy?
nice powder smell. All right, so
So I know what to get you for Christmas is the Brute gift pack.
There you go, Brendan. This now I'm not going to go down on the whole history of X-Crawl. I watched. You had a really great show with Mike and Joseph, but we're talking. This started back in '99.
99. That was my home campaign. I did it. I specifically started running X-Crawl adventures just for Jason Jenkins and Pete Morrison, my 2 roommates at the time. And eventually we added our friend Jared Clay, and we added a bunch more guys. But yeah, it was my home game for quite a while. And they got so excited about it. It made me think for the first time, like I could do something with this. This is like an idea I could put out there. So, yeah, since it's been a while, been a good while.
So that's perseverance, and like that's what I'm talking about here. Now I know, we were gaming and all that, and I know how busy you are. You are traveling. You're a professional judge. You're a professional writer. You are always traveling. You're always working on projects for your occupation, and there's creativity in that, and you do have fun with that still. But like, how do you work? Like that really blows my mind. So you have like a 25-year project that you continue to chip at, and then at the same time, you have, module after module after adventure after tournament game and traveling. How do you organize both your mind and your time?
Okay, so as far as your mind goes, I think for me, the key thing is really creating a really good creative environment for myself, a place where I always feel like I can just go to. Like my office is ridiculous. It's, it's just like books and toys and things that are kind of like, piled around. But so having that really helps, and sort of like always sort of like being on that creative side of things. And, sometimes if you do it long enough, like you get to where like sometimes you have no choice. It's like, hey, we need a new adventure by this time and we have to have it here. And it has to be, you can't, I don't have all that time to like. I've been lucky. There have been some things I've really let percolate over time.
Okay.
In X-Crawl, like there are certain ideas I had. There's one long-term idea I had been working on for years, and I ran it last year for the first time at a bunch of conventions. And then once I actually had it in front of people, I hated it. It was like, what have I done? Like I couldn't. I literally was like, I'm never running this again. This is terrible. But like that's a luxury, and it's a good luxury and a good thing to kind of, to have. You sort of like to have those long-term projects that you're also working with. But sometimes you just got to write to order. And I found myself, like you just sort of have to, for me, the way I do it, like when it's time to write a new thing, I just literally, I work longhand. Longhand really works for me. I get out the notebooks. I use a nice big oversized notebook so I don't feel constrained. And I'll let myself write 10 pages of garbage, just thinking about things, just sort of like getting my thoughts out there and kind of like sharing things with myself. And, you can, I feel like if you sit down and be creative and start putting stuff down, eventually you will wire it. Like your head will get wired to your hand, and you'll just start putting out things that will spark real ideas, like not just on a whimsical kind of thing, but like really good creative stuff that like you can actually apply things to. So that's been it's a long process, but it's a kind of thing you can absolutely train yourself to. Creativity is absolutely a muscle, and the more you work it, the stronger you get at it. And I can't stress enough. like I don't think you can ever get to a point where you don't need to sit and just have brainstorming days or just to let yourself daydream. I'm a world-class daydreamer.
I love it.
I walk in the morning and I will literally, the other day I was like, hey, what would it be like if somehow I inherited a Mexican restaurant? And for my whole walk, I just thought about what it would be like my Mexican restaurant, how I would do it, and would people, like I just thought about like what would it look like? It was just a thing that kind of popped into my head, and but by letting yourself explore that and not giving yourselves those limiting thoughts, like this is a stupid thing to be thinking about, get your head on track. By allowing yourself to be playful, that's the key to it. I think. By allowing yourself to be playful like that, you can. It's the creativity. It's an endless ocean, and you can always dip into it as long as you let yourself stay playful and young and have that mindset.
It's funny because I know at least Brian, Levi, and I, and Brendan, I know you too, because I got a beautiful package of figures from you too. We do remain playful. Specifically, we were just right before the stream started, we're talking about action figures.
Yes.
Action figures and
yeah,
all that kind of stuff. It's so when you talk about this longhand narrative, I'm sorry, the longhand, the beginning, when you're writing an adventure, do you start it out as a narrative, almost like a story, or does it come down as a adventure, like game, what would you say, like a game cloud around it?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I absolutely do. Here's the thing. Okay, you can approach it from a lot of different directions, and I think that you have to not limit yourself. Sometimes I get a funny idea for a title in my head, and then I work from that, and I'll just be like, all right, this is hilarious. Or sometimes I'll have a scene in my head that will be like, oh, I really want to see this happen. How do I make this happen? Sometimes I go with a theme first. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'm thinking, all right, let's really do something that's just about like escape. I really want to do, everything in here should be about trying to burst out and get away and distance yourself from this bad thing that's happening to you. I think you can approach it from a lot of angles. I think that I think it's a good exercise just to sometimes try it from a different thing. Think of come up with a bad guy. I have a friend of mine who works that. The first thing you do is, who are the monsters? Who are the bad guys?
Yeah,
they start with that. I know a lot of folks do that. That's not usually my way, right? But I just did a thing for the first time. I was like, okay, let's just try it. Let's just see how it looks, And I kind of came up with a thing, and it's still just an idea that I'm developing in my head, but I'm doing that just to kind of get outside of myself a little bit, and to sort of not to, in other words, not to get outside of the way I usually work. I think it's really important sometimes to sort of get outside, yourself, and sort of still have your process, but be okay, this is my process. Let's try not doing my process. Let's try it from a different direction. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but sometimes it can lead to really amazing things. And even if it doesn't, you've sort of you found something out. Even trying something when it doesn't work,
yes.
You learn something very important.
Even from the worst thing that you've ever written, you're going to probably get one of your best lessons of writing.
And I got a lot of worse things.
Neon Lord and Levi, you guys inspired me this week, where I'm in this chat with you guys, and then all of a sudden, boom, hey, I got an idea. And both of you did these bombastic, almost like cinematic trailers in about 100 words. And I'm like, oh my God, that's a great way to do it. Come up with the commercial first and then let it go out. Am I accurate with your brains?
Yeah, that's how I do it. I elevator pitch it like I'm pitching a movie, and then take the plot of a movie and turn it into something.
And both of you, well, and Ian too, clearly, I love the idea of the extravagant title, because you lean into it.
Yeah, it's like taking a page right out of Levi's book, Mr. Dr. Mummified, Dukes of Hazzard, fisticuffs of the South Star.
Yeah, that's like a throwback though to all the Golden Era movies, and you look at it, the titling era, that we're
awesome.
Mimicking some of that for sure. But that's Levi's good with the elevator pitch.
Vibe and aesthetic. It's just what I'm into, but everybody has their own thing, my thing is I love Grindhouse and B movies and really crappy movies, but I like, I'm a different era than Brian. Brian likes more of the, late 80s, 90s stuff. He's more into that than I'm more into the 70s and early 80s. So
And I'm the 50s, 60s guy. So we have the whole gamut.
Just a different aesthetic, different time.
Well, we are back to back with another show. We could go on for another hour. Brendan, as the world traveler when it comes to judging and conventions, I got to pack my bag.
Okay.
What are 3 things I should consider for Gen Con? Other than my suits and outfits and all that, what is going to make me survive a week in Indianapolis?
Okay. You know what? I would say pack a couple of protein bars. Not just junk, but actual protein bars, like things that are actually going to keep you sustained. Because Indianapolis, God bless it, and God bless Gen Con, it can be really hard to get a decent meal sometimes.
Okay.
The lines everywhere. You're looking at reduced menus. To me, that's a huge thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think this is the thing for Gen Con specifically. It doesn't hurt to have a bag that can fit into a smaller thing, like a big bag that you can kind of shrink down, because I never go with the idea of, today I'm buying that thing. I never think that. And then you're like,
okay.
I got to have this. Like, you will see stuff there that will absolutely blow your mind. So I think if you can do it, I mean, you guys are driving up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so you got that advantage, but like, I would say, bring some, throw a couple of cardboard boxes in the back in case you find a thing that you have to have there. You know what I'm saying?
A good empty poster tube.
A good empty poster. That's such a good idea.
Yeah. I am
never do that, and it's such a good idea. Yeah, that's a great one.
And then we're gonna have some breakfast pizza.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So I was saying, since I'm on the pizza party, okay. So if you go to it's Memorial Circle, okay, which is kind of north and east of like the convention center, as I recall. Giorgio's Pizza there. Okay, so Giorgio's Pizza is excellent, right? And they open at 10 a.m. So you can sneak in there for a breakfast slice. They have slices at 10 a.m. I got myself a slice of pepperoni and a slice of my absolute favorite topping these days, eggplant there.
Oh, and, I love eggplant on pizza.
I was in heaven. I was in absolute heaven,
It's like a 10-minute walk from the convention center too. It's not far.
Yeah. We were over there. We were at a hotel there one time. Me and Brett Brooke, me and Big Brett. We were over there at one time, and it was just like I walked by and I'm like, I got slices like right now. So like got my coffee, sat outside there. I felt like I was the king of the world. You know what I mean? Before the convention.
Coffee pizza and a pizza. Great way to start. I'm in, man. I'm in.
Every day.
I'm in. All right. Well, you and I will go grab some breakfast slices together.
Done.
Guys, I want to thank you all. This has been a very enlightening episode. We got some of the best here, people. Look out for your friends. If there's one message from this one, a rising tide lifts all ships, right? So it doesn't cost anything to click a button and help your friends out. It just, as Ian said, it helps us all. Even if you're doing you support your favorite person, you get your favorite stuff in return, and everybody works out all right. Yeah. Elena, I cannot wait to meet you in person. We are going to tear it up in Indianapolis. So, everybody, if you're going to be at Gen Con, stop by the Goodman Games booth. A bunch of us will be there hanging out. We'll be running games, having all sorts of fun. If you're not going to be there, I'll be thinking of you, and I'll see you in August for a follow-up. We'll talk about my exploration into the Borderlands and my Gen Con and everything about creativity in between and the beauty of the DCC role-playing community. Oh, beautiful one.
Oh, wow.
There's the Vorpal Almanac. Check out the projects. We'll send the links in the chat. I love you all. Good night.